I created the absolute worst case scenario for the Rams. That's also very realistic going into 19th overall. Before we dive into that, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. Let's talk about it. So starting it off, you can see it on the screen. I got Caleb Williams going number 1 to the Bears. This is obvious. And again, we're trying to keep it realistic to give us kind of a sense of who would be available for the Rams if they chose to stay at 19 and a lot of things didn't go their way. Number 2, Jaden Daniels, one of the worst kept secrets. It seems like it's obvious he's going to Washington. Number 3, I thought about this. Because I was like, well, what if Marvin Harrison Jr. goes here? Doesn't this make the draft worse for the Rams? No, actually, if the 3 quarterbacks get taken here, then the Cardinals are 100% going to end up with Marvin Harrison Jr. And then I believe the next best wide receiver on whoever's board, the Chargers, for instance, is going to take a wide receiver. And then I think the Giants take a wide receiver. So either way, teams are going to take a wide receiver. But also that if the wide receiver goes at pick 4 and then pick 5 and then pick 6, then you're going to have your tackle picked at 7, which, you know, instead of having a team like the Titans that need a tackle, now they're the first tackle selection instead of maybe the Giants taking a tackle or the Chargers. So that's the interesting thing here. So Drake May going at 3 to the Patriots, Marvin Harrison Jr. going at 4 to the Arizona Cardinals, at 5 Malik Neighbors going to the Chargers, at 6 the Giants, going with a wide receiver instead of all the rumors that they're going to take a quarterback, which I don't believe for a second. They go for Rome Odunze. 7, the Titans get Joe Alt. 8, this is where it gets really tough. We know the Rams have a need at edge. We know that they don't necessarily have a need in the immediate, right, for a wide receiver and a tackle. However, we like one, right? You want the best player available, whatever. Number 8, Falcons take Jared Verse, and I think this is very realistic. Now, a lot of people have them going Dallas Turner, and I could see that too. But I also think Jared Verse kind of fits what Raheem Morris would want in his defensive player. I could see them going offensive, trading up and trying to secure one of the top wide receivers. But if they stay, I think it's an edge defender, and I think it's going to be Jared Verse. At the very least, it'll be one of Jared Verse or Dallas Turner. So that leads number 9. Chicago Bears back on the clock. I have them taking Dallas Turner. Now you can see how this complicates things because right away, before we even hit pick 10, there's 2 edge defenders off the board. All of your mock drafts out there show that these guys, not all of them, like Dallas Turner, I think a lot have him going in the top 10. But like versus a guy that falls into like the 14, 15, 16 range, right? Maybe even sometimes falls into the Rams lap at 19 in your mock drafts. Well, think again if this happens. And if this happens, teams always are in, could use a pass rusher. So with that said, now, the next best guy is Latu and Chop Robinson and so forth. So number 10, the Jets, Olu Fashanu. Okay. So now the top 10, you have the top 2 tackles off the board, the top 2 edge defenders off the board, the top 3 quarterbacks off the board, and the top 3 wide receivers off the board. So number 11, this helps the Rams a little bit here. It is J.J. McCarthy going to the Vikings. Now, I kind of feel like he's going to go in the top 10, could go as high as the top 5. I think those are somewhat real, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was all just, smoke and it wasn't actually a thing and whatever. Either way, McCarthy's going in the first round. I think it's definitely fair to say. And I don't think this hurts the Rams unless they really wanted him. So he goes at 11. Number 12, the best cornerback in this draft, in my opinion, Quinyon Mitchell, goes to the Broncos. This is a bad case scenario if they want the best cornerback in the draft. Number 13, Talisa Fuaga ends up going to the Raiders. So 3 tackles right away off the board in the first 13 picks. At pick 14, the 4th tackle comes off the board, a tackle that has been linked to the Rams, that they met with at the Pro Day and had a private visit with, and that is Troy Fatanu, who goes to the Saints. Now at pick 15, this is when it gets really tough. You've had 3 wide receivers go off the board. Now you have another wide receiver go off the board in Brian Thomas Jr., a guy that I think fits the Rams like a glove at pick 19 if they stay there. Number 16, Chop Robinson comes off the board. I think this is realistic because I think he is going to go a lot higher than a lot of these mock drafts have him. He's got the best first step in the draft. He's very similar to Dallas Turner, although I think he's a better player right now even. And you have your rival getting him, so that makes matters even worse. Didn't have any trades, so obviously this could get really bad. You have the 49ers trading with, Pittsburgh Steelers and, moving Ayuk and getting that 20th pick and then moving up in ahead of the Rams and taking, an Odunze or something. Like, that would be bad, right? But we kept it no trades. So again, worst case scenario, even still, Latu going to the Jaguars at pick 17. And the last but not least, Brock Bowers, who Rams fans would probably be hoping for at this point, would fall into the lap. He goes at pick 18 to the Bengals. And before we get into who is available here for the Rams, just want to let you guys know that today's video sponsor is, of course, Manta Sleep, where you can get your purchase Manta Sleep sleep mask. There's all sorts of them. They got weighted. They have a mask that connects to your phone. They have a silk mask. They have all sorts of masks. You can go and check them out and use promo code JKBogan to get your 10% off your purchase. Again, JKBogan will get you 10% off. Now back to the video. So with that said, we're at pick 19 here. This is the worst case scenario that I could find. Obviously, we're trying to keep it realistic because I use the PFF mock board. But in addition to that, quarterbacks are going to go. And if you're not high on any of the quarterbacks, like for me personally, if JJ McCarthy was there, that means that there's a better player that was probably, picked ahead of him. So I'm okay with guys like that going. But this is somewhat realistic. We could go crazy with trades. We could go crazy with this guy falling and this guy falling. We didn't go that route. So who's available? Well, you got Jerzon Newton, Illinois, interior defensive lineman. He's the 8th ranked player on PFF's board at this point in time. Cooper DeJean is the 9th ranked player on PFF's board. Byron Murphy, the 2nd, is the 13th ranked player. Terrion Arnold is the 15th. J.C. Latham is the 19th. Nate Wiggins, 20th. Amarius Mims, 22nd. Kool-Aid McKinstry, 23rd. Jackson Powers Johnson, 24th. Graham Barton, 25th. Tyler Nubin, 26th. Peyton Wilson, 27th. You have 30th is Tyler Guyton. 31st is Adonai Mitchell. 32nd is Zach Frazier, followed by Ladd McConkey, Bo Nix, TJ Tampa, Mike Sainristil, Kamari Lassiter, Braden Fisk, Troy Franklin, Jordan Morgan, Chris Braswell, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., and you have Darius Robinson. In addition to that, the last but not least, you have Kingsley Suamataia, you have Michael Penix Jr., Roman Wilson, Javon Bullard, Ricky Pearsall, Adisa Isaac, Jatavian Sanders, Jermaine Burton, Jonah Ellis, Ruka Rororo, Keon Coleman, Jonathan Brooks, and Kieran Amagaji. Okay, so with that said, where do you go from here? If you guys follow me on Twitter, I actually teased this, and I thought I'd make a video on it. So in this worst case scenario, number 3 out of all of these players, and might surprise you, I'm going to go with J.C. Latham out of Alabama. Okay, number 3. Latham is somebody that is going to be an absolute mauler in the run game, but I think he could really stand up and hold his own in pass protection. Now, he played right tackle, but a lot of scouts believe he could play left tackle. And if you look at the NFL Network, they rave about him. And in addition to that, there are people that think he's the best tackle in the draft. I'm not inclined to be one of those people. I think he's really good. So he comes in at 3 for me. Number 2 is Georgia offensive tackle Amarius Mims. Reason being is I think he has a higher ceiling. Right away, J.C. Latham has a way higher floor, in my opinion. And in addition to that, J.C. Latham, I think, is more of a proven talent where I feel more comfortable saying he's going to happen. And Amarius Mims, there's some projection. He's only played 8 games, whatever. But the last one, but obviously number one here, definitely not least, Texas wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. Okay, you talk about a 6'4" receiver, has blazing speed, and is just maybe my favorite route runner in this class. Okay, I absolutely love Adonai Mitchell. First off, the name Adonai, if you don't know what that means, it's pretty cool. So love his name, but regardless of his name, we're talking football here. Mitchell is one of the best receivers in this draft. He's a top 5 receiver on my board. He's somebody that will probably go late first, but I wouldn't be surprised if a team took him in the middle of the draft. With Brian Thomas Jr., who I think is honestly the best fit after Rome Odunze for the Rams, Brian Thomas Jr. gone, I think this is the pivot spot. I think this is the moment where you go out, you get your elite, potential elite receiver that can kind of do it all, and, you let it ride. And I think with Adonai Mitchell, keeping in mind that Les Snead's son went to Texas, he's definitely got tape on him. Obviously, anybody has tape on him, but I think he knows a little bit more than maybe other GMs do about him. That could also be the argument for Byron Murphy II. I'm not a fan of taking a position here to take a position. Those are the 3 best players at accordance to my board that are left over. Okay. I think Byron Murphy II is really good. I would not take him in the first round. If I had a need, like a really, really pressing need, I would. I don't think the Rams do. I think people are underrating what they have in that interior defensive line room. I also think they're underrating what the Rams could acquire on day 2 and even day 3 of the NFL draft this year. So I don't think Byron Murphy II is that much better than, say, going out and getting Mekhi Wingo. I think his ceiling is wicked high. And I think, obviously, with the guys that they have, Gift Smith being the defensive line coach and the run game coordinator, I think he could get even better. I think he could be really good next to Kobe Turner, next to Bobby Brown III, alongside Desjuan Johnson and, Laryl Murchison, and even Corey Durden, who they really like. So I don't feel the need. It doesn't feel as pressing to me to go out and get an interior defensive lineman. Cooper DeJean, I'm not as high on as everyone else. So, personally, I see ranked 9th by PFF, and I kind of scoff at that. I don't think he's the 9th overall player. I think he's really talented, could definitely help you in the receiving game, so I get that aspect, but I don't feel like he's somebody that's like one of the best players in the draft. He's definitely not top 10 on my board. Terrion Arnold would be the best corner available. He'd probably fit the best, and he would definitely be an honorable mention here. I like Jerzon Newton a lot, but the same thing applies to Byron Murphy. I just don't think they need to go interior defensive line, and I feel like it'd be kind of a reach, and it'd almost be a panic move because it's like, well, we lost Aaron Donald, so, let's go out and get an interior defensive lineman. I just don't love that. Nate Wiggins, I don't think is a scheme fit, but I think he's very talented. Kool-Aid McKinstry is somebody early on in the process that I thought I really wanted. And now with the Rams kind of addressing the cornerback position, already spending capital with guys like Kobe Durant and, Darion Kendrick and Trey Tomlinson, I don't really expect them to go corner in the first round. In addition to that, Steve Avila's at center, so I don't think Jackson Powers-Johnson's an option anymore either. Graham Barton can play tackle, guard, and center, so he is intriguing, but I would still say no. I'm not as high on Tyler Guyton. Peyton Wilson, a linebacker at 19 would be a reach, and he's got a injury history there, and I don't love this linebacker class enough to draft one in the first round. Tyler Nubin has a lot to like. He's got a great skill set, but I think at 19 is a little bit of a reach. But I love Adonai Mitchell there to be the pick. Zach Frazier, I think, is more of a second-round talent. Ladd McConkey's a late first-rounder. I think that'd be a little early. Bo Nix, I would be furious. Bo Nix is somebody who's a 3rd to 4th round grade for me. I just don't see it. He's an older quarterback. I wasn't overly blown away by him. If you saw my quarterback video, I kind of explained it. I just don't think it'd be a good move at all. It would probably be one of the worst picks that they had made in the first round in quite some time, and that says a lot. TJ Tampa, like him, not a first rounder. Same with Mike Sainristil, not a first rounder, but I do like him. Troy Franklin's intriguing. Like Troy Franklin, you could look at and be like, this is a guy that was projected to go in the first round. Now it seems like he's somebody that's flying under the radar. Even myself, I'm sitting there wondering if I'm underrating him at all. He's interesting. Jordan Morgan, if they were to trade down. So I think really your options are you take a guy like Adonai Mitchell. Maybe you take somebody like Franklin if you're trying to stick to wide receiver, Ladd McConkey. But I think if you take anybody like that, you're trading down. The tackles, Mims and Latham, right? Barton, if you want the versatility all over the offensive line. But I could also see a trade down here. Personally, what I would do is if I knew that Mitchell would fall, I would trade down based on the board I have right here and pick Mitchell. If I knew that he wasn't going to fall, I'd take Mitchell at 19, and I wouldn't risk it. I think he'd be so good in this offense. I think he does everything that you really want in a wide receiver first round prospect. He's not perfect by any stretch, but he's got great speed. And again, the route running, which to me, I think is the most important thing. When you look at wide receivers, that's the thing that seems to translate the most. So I love his, receiving ability. I love his route running ability. I think he's a very fluid mover. And I think he's so fluid in his routes that he's going to become so good in the NFL. The separate, the ability to separate is just so obvious. And that stuff seems to always translate more often than some of the other skill sets. So with that said, I would take Adonai Mitchell. But based on what I gave you, who would you take? Drop in the comment section below. Let me know. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan. And also, do me a favor, guys, if you haven't already, I'm doing NFL draft content and NFL content in general over on my NFL channel, JENFL. The link is in the description and the comment section below. Would do me so much if you could please subscribe to that. That will never replace this channel. I am doing that in accordance to this channel and my Yankees channel. Again, if you're a Yankees fan, you see the Yankee hoodie, definitely go and check out Yankees Unloaded. But that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, special thanks to Mantis Sleep for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.